Hey Spuddies, PotatoMcWhiskey here, and welcome back to Old World, where we were about to choose how we were going to win the game. And I think we're going to go for the 7 wonders. We have 1 wonder under construction, and we could potentially get another 2 under construction in the near future. Now the big thing is here, we'll need to build the Circus Maximus and the Via Recta Suec adjacent to the city center, so I might have to kill my garrison and stuff like that to get them here. So there'll be a little bit of work involved in that. So what does it actually require for us to build these wonders? We need 1200 stone and 400 civics. Well, we can do those relatively quickly. So let's go ahead and get into position on top of the garrison. And I don't know if there's a way to like break the garrison for now, but maybe next turn I'll have the civics I need to actually do that. And what I really need is to get a builder as my heir so that I can build multiple things. I also need to have a daughter or a son or something because my family line is like dying out. I need to appoint ambassadors and stuff, but I don't have the spare civics for that, so we'll do that soon. We do have access to cold baths now, and I had planned to actually place some of them here. That'll bring the discontent down in these cities quite a bit. 1.4 discontent per turn is pretty damn good. Also, the city could use a governor. I could put myself in charge of the city. I don't think I need to do that. Well, sure, let's govern this city. Actually, Gasalawaya, the scientist, is a good candidate here because she can also hurry specialists with money, so maybe I can make some use out of that. I need to be I actually just spent a whole bunch of stone, and I just remembered that I actually need to be careful about spending stone. So I'm going to be a little bit more careful here. I'm going to build a few extra quarries because that should theoretically make it cheaper for me to build wonders. So there's the 10 elder specialists, and someone converted to Judaism. Perfect. So I can get a free Odeon, I can get a Quartz Scholar, or I can... I'll get a free Quartz Scholar. Wait, no! Undo. That was not what I meant to click on. I need to save my civics. I can't do that. I will upset Egypt slightly. That's fine. So I could pass some laws. Philosophy would make my urban specialists cheaper. Engineering would make my wonders cheaper. I would like that. However, I need to use this 400... stuff to build this. Okay, I need 11,000 gold. Well, it's time to do a mass sell-off of food and a mass sell-off of wood. And now I can go ahead and start. Which one of these is more expensive? The Via Recta Suc is more expensive, so I'm going to start at the Circus Maximus first. Because if I take the cheaper one, I can leverage my strong economy to get the more expensive one. Now I have to wait 1 or 2 turns in order to get the civics I need. So I will be running council a few times in some of my cities to maximize my civics rate. So it's a big open question about whether or not I can get enough money to build the wonder I need to build next turn. No! They sniped it, bro. I was literally just about to go for it. All right then. I think we're gonna go for tolerance this game. This will mean that non-state religions actually improve discontent. And we're gonna have to start moving our economy in a war direction. Damn, I really got sniped on that one, didn't I? Yeah, that's so disappointing. I need 1 wonder, so I need to like find a wonder. Here's a question. Let me grab a scout and see if I can go ahead and scout Assyria's lands to find a wonder. And then I'll have to leverage my alliance with Egypt to go to war with them. And I'm going to start preparing an army. So Ankua is in a relatively good position here in terms of military production, right? It's got 30 military training. It's missing 2 of its officers. So I will probably finish those elder officers before I start producing military. But if I pop a hamlet in here and cancel a few of these things, I should be able to start doing things like garrisons and barracks and ranges to build up my capital's production of stuff. I've also got a military production site over here in Tyrus that I can make use of. It has, I think it's only missing 1 range now. So it's missing a barrack. So if we get the barracks in here, now the city is looking really good for military production. Slowly getting the officers up. So let's build up an overwhelming military production capacity. So I need 1 more law before I can go for citadels, and that will unlock the 3-man chariot, which is an 8 combat strength unit that I will be using to fight. Let's start producing forts on the front line with Assyria so that we have a little bit of like good territory to actually attack into them from. I massively need to increase my iron rate, so there's going to be a lot of mines being built now. That's kind of like one of my major goals. I have a big economy in many, many areas, but military production is not one of them. Like the training in this city is very, very low. Like it would take me 8 years to build an archer. So I need to get that number up, and the way to get that number up is to build these officers. This city could probably use a luxury as well, because that'll neutralize the discontent in here. So I'll do that. In terms of research, I do have a few militias sitting around. Cathedrals could be useful. Calligraphy is quite good because it gives you minus discontent from elder specialists, although iconography would give monasteries, cathedrals, and temples quite a good buff. The problem is iconography is kind of incompatible with tolerance, in that it prevents religious spread, so I don't know. Let me have a look at Judaism here. It's got enlightenment as its final thing, which cares about philosophy, which is a law that I could pass. And I would like to pass philosophy, so we'll see. I mean, it would be nice to have access to cathedrals because they would give me a lot of legitimacy, which would be a lot of extra orders in the coming war that I'm being kind of forced into, is maybe a questionable way to phrase it. However, my army, my economy now is strong enough to where I do feel that I could win a war. The real thing I need is just to get my tech level up and to slightly improve my economy, my military production. So I could send some money to Assyria to prevent war, and since I'm not ready to go to war with Assyria, I will pay that. We've got another choice of laws. I think it would be good to go for monotheism. That's +1 order per city that follows Judaism, which is my state religion. So let's pass that law. That should be a massive orders boost. Yeah, look at that. We're up to 48 orders per turn now. So that's a huge step up. Laws are really, really good empire-wide scaling. So if we look at the city of Thermessus, what is the point of the city in my empire's economy? It has the lighthouse. So I think its main goal is to be gold production here to sustain my army, and then a little bit of training in order to actually supply my army with upgrades. I think that's the main meat of this city's goals, because it is a trader city, right? So they get benefits from like hamlets and gold production and caravans. So I think that's kind of like the route we want to take with this. Now, how does Christianity feel about me? Christianity doesn't love me, but if I were to start building some Christian improvements, it would be helpful. The problem is that Christianity has spread to a few of my cities, and it's causing a little bit of discontent. I think I can live with that discontent though. It's only like +1 discontent. It's not the end of the world. So they'll be a little bit unhappy because of it. But I can live with their unhappiness. So Aikoa has 2 fully built elder officers and room for another officer that I could build up, and I will be rushing that out ASAP. Now, how does Sinope fit into my overall economy? Honestly, I think this is more of like a teching city. This city does not feel like it's super important for military production. Its training is super low. It's better as a civics and growth city. Even caravans, I could grab a couple of caravans and improve my relationship with other players. The city of Tyrus, this is definitely a military production city, and it's going to be conquering these northern locations just to get a little bit of extra score, because I'm working either towards these extra wonders or towards getting enough score to win the game. And so to that end, I will train at least level 1 officers in here, because even the level 1 officer is like super efficient. Ideally, you would get elder officers because of that 50 XP for new units, but we can live with just level 1 officers. Now, if we look at the city of Byzantium, like it's a really, really good tech city. So I'm kind of tempted to grab some philosophers. Now, elder philosophers actually give you really good scaling culture based on growth. And this city has incredible growth, so I do feel like getting elder officers would be really good. But the problem is the city actually produces a lot of civics. Maybe I could also go for more fisherman growth. By getting a ton of fisherman specialists, I do get a lot of benefits because I have the Great Lighthouse, so fisherman specialists would be really, really good. I don't need the excess food, though. How long would it take me to make these fishermen? I mean, if I were to go like fisherman, 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 max out the fisherman, and then run like a festival or two to just pump discontent down and maximize my growth, and then train a couple of philosophers, I think that could be an interesting way to kind of capstone this city, because that'll go for a major culture area. Now this city, this actually should have been a military production city in hindsight 2020. This should have been a military production city, but it's not. It's going to be hard to switch it over. And the reason is it's just simply on the front line and it's a very small city. But it's not a military production city, so it's not the end of the world. I will go for a master priest because that's extra discontent. It'll equalize that discontent and make the city happier. On my frontline vulnerable cities, I am going to build defensive structures to protect them. And if I look at my capital city, like the training in here isn't bad, but the real power is in the civics. So how do I make that civics work for me on a local level? Ooh, do you know what I do need though? I do need a Jewish disciple because I need to build a temple in here. So that would be good. You know what? I don't need citadels in these cities. I was going to build a citadel here, but what I really wanted markets. And markets are unlocked on the top. It's unlocked at coinage. So I need to get navigation. I need to grab navigation and then go for coinage. Because if I get markets, I can get a massive gold boost, right? Up to 100% gold boost in a city. And I also need to build harbors, but I don't even know where harbors are unlocked. So let's start positioning units on the front line. I'm mostly going to be using elephants at the very, very front. Might have been a good idea to have built roads here. Yeah, that definitely would have been a good idea to have built roads, but we can't live with that. We have to live with the mistakes we've made. I think we're going to focus most of our combat around Carchemish, and I need to get catapults. That's going to be like a big part of my my combat victory. Is if I can get catapults, that will open up the war in a significant way. Persia wants my gems. I'm going to take the XP because that gets me halfway to a level. And my husband is the governor of Hattusa, and he can level up. I would say to just take the extra charisma. That's an extra significant amount of civics per turn. So I'm finally getting down my warm baths. And that's going to be really, really nice for discontent in these cities, which should bring down the negatives that I'm getting from that. Like if we look at Sinope, it's actually at minus 6.7 discontent. So that's basically shooting down, like shooting down. There is a little bit of a diminishing return from getting more training in here. Like if I were to train these elder officers to max rank, it would take a very, very long time in terms of like how long this game is going to be for them to pay off what I've invested into them. So I think it's safe now to start military production over here, at least in Tyros. Now we don't need a massive military to take these camps, but we will need a relatively large military up there. I can use my trader workers to make like little chunks of road too, which will like make getting units to the front line slightly simpler. And I also need to start looking for like generals, ideally relatively young. I don't want to be in command of a unit here because I think that's kind of dangerous actually. But if I can get people say age under 50, put them in charge of these units and start building up a real military presence, I think we'll be on to a winner. Speaking of which, I need to like hurry out this master officer. I need a militia in this city to act as a garrison so I can use this chariot on the front line. I think that's going to be part of my plans. And this is just going to be a lot of what we do here. Training militia to garrison cities while I bring the quote unquote real military units to the front line. Now, as much as I want navigation and machinery, a discontent boost right now, this would be a game changer. So many of like, because like my family opinion would instantly go up to maximum. Like, look how much negative discontent they have. Discontent. That's like so much discontent that I would wipe off. Time for a new law, and we're choosing between philosophy and engineering and iconography and calligraphy. I think engineering is out because I no longer need wonder cost. 1 year to build improvements is quite good, but I don't think it's necessary. I think I might be better off going for philosophy here. To make urban specialists easier to produce, but more importantly, a bunch of opinion boosts. Now, let me have a look at iconography here. This would boost my monasteries, my cathedrals, and my temples. That's quite good. Or I could go for calligraphy. Calligraphy is honestly so much discontent reduction. It's kind of insane. And also so much culture from libraries. Then again, iconography, though, I have gone for a very religious kind of build here. So increasing the benefits I get from the investment in my religion is quite powerful. And so for that reason, I think I'm going to go for iconography, especially that monastery +2 training. That's like having an extra officer in a city. So that's going to be huge for developing my economy. Now I need to start feeding training into my units to level them up to be prepared for this war. So archers are range 3, and some promotions lead to other promotions. So these are things you need to be aware of, like combat 1 leads to combat 2. Extra combat strength from urban is going to be really helpful in the coming war. So I think I will take warden. On my elephant, on the other hand, he already has focus 1, so he has a chance to crit. And he's led, bloodthirsty, river. Amphibious is okay. It's a little bit kind of weak, in my opinion. This is going to be mostly land dominated. I think bloodthirsty is quite good. It's just a 10% combat bonus if somebody's already hurt. This guy has saddleborn and amphibious, although I think that's coming from the hero. Herbalist is quite good for healing, but if the unit dies, you don't get any healing. So in that case, I'm just going to take Combat 1. Besieger is quite good. It's only attacking into Urban, but it's still good, so I'll take that. And then otherwise, I'm going to look for more promotions. I think I'm out of training. Oh no, I'm out of order, sorry. Oops. My husband is severely ill and we have not had a child. That's not good. I think I'm going to pick up 280 science here. It's 1 turn worth of science, but that'll lower the discontent across my entire empire, and that's huge. Looks like we finished a caravan. We got a caravan finished event, and we got a free copy of salt that I can give to the Kusaran, so thank you, Hattusans, for giving me that salt. We have a developing culture event. Archery seems quite good, having better trained archery units. Let's send that salt. Wait. Oh, the salt is there. It's not actually improved yet. Right. So I'll need to get a builder to work on that. I absolutely need navigation. Well, what's my next unit upgrade? Having access to horsemen would be good. I need machinery, so the onager is coming. I may as well just grab navigation because it gets me closer to markets. I can finally start archer production, and 1 archer every 2 turns is like a supreme rate. I will try to get that up slightly. It'll take a little bit of time, though. I have to wait till like the citadel is built and things like that. Let's get ourselves a spy master. I don't really care who it is, as long as it's not too bad. Samiri the Younger can take charge. And then this will allow me to create agent networks in my enemy cities using my scouts, because scouts kind of act like spies in the late game. So I want to make use of that so that I can see their territory. And our goal is to basically try to find their wonders. Now, they're probably going to be over in Asher. A few of my relatives have died. I don't know how I still haven't had a son or a child in general. I would really like markets, but I want onagers more because they have splash damage, which means they do 25% of the damage to the 6 tiles surrounding the target they attack. This gives you great AoE damage, so I'm going to go ahead and grab onager. Our first archer in Tyras has finished. I'll very quickly grab 1 more officer and hurry him out before I start going back to archer production. I think 2 archers and 2 spearmen sent off to fight this city should be enough to do it. So I can do colonies or I can do serfdom. Colonies would allow me to buy tiles and give me a movement bonus again along neutral rivers, whereas serfdom would give me my farms and pastures and output bonus. I have a decent amount of pastures and farms, and being able to buy tiles would be handy if I went for colonies, but I'm going to take the output bonus. It'll make the landowners happy too. Honestly, maybe I could have gone for the law thing. I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more laws. I may have made the wrong choice in my victory condition. I think I'm going to take a lover just for the sake of maybe having a bastard son that I can legitimize, because holy crap, the husband is not doing it right now, guys. Listen. Don't judge me. I am going to get myself a chancellor and a ambassador here. So this guy's quite young, so he'll serve as an ambassador for a very long time. Or a chancellor, rather, for a very, very long time. Aluwama the Younger should also be able to serve... Oh, I have to wait a turn before I can do that. Never mind. Yeah, I kind of regret this city not having the military production that I wish it did right now. Because now I won't be able to build biremes to support my attack on Tyre in a reasonable amount of time. Maybe I can use my training to boost that over time. This city needs more luxuries. Oh god, look at this. Level 7 discontent. Oh my god. It's disgusting. Now, the nice thing is military units can move along the coast like insanely fast. I've got plenty of melee. I need a lot more range units. I've only got like 3 archers, and that's, I guess, if you're technically including like this camel archer. So I made an agent network in Nisibis. So now I'm going to actually put an agent in here. And apparently you can steal things from the enemy. What the hell? Agents to gain visibility and temporarily protect treasury. They also siphon off a percentage of its yields, depending on the ratings. Wow. I had no idea that characters could like siphon off resources from another city. This is kind of opening up new possibilities that I hadn't considered, and this might actually be important to do. But yeah, now I have full vision of the city, and unfortunately I don't think I can see a wonder. My husband has died, which sucks. So I need to choose a new governor for my capital. I guess I'll govern it myself, but I need a new husband for sure. I might be... God, I need... what if I married this guy? Who is he? I'll marry into the Kusaran family. God, this is just so difficult. So the nice thing about a chancellor is that he can actually start to pacify cities for you. And which I think is going to be part of what he's going to do for me. Is to go around and try to pacify a bunch of cities. Now it takes a while. What can my spy master do is a question. They can infiltrate nations. They can slander nations and infiltrate. They can do agent missions. Treachery and insurrections. Okay. I definitely don't want to do a treachery action, to be honest with you. Now, infiltrating Assyria would be helpful because revealing their territory would be huge. That'll take 3 years to complete, so I will do an infiltrate on them. And I'll do a trade mission with Egypt. I need to start using these counselors. I always want them to be active and doing things. I neglected that portion of the gameplay for a long time, but I can see how valuable it is. Now, you can build 2 cathedrals in every family's territory. So I think I'm going to get started on making cathedrals. I definitely want a cathedral in my capital, maybe Ankara as well. But Ephesus is also as good as any city, maybe. It's relatively close to the front line. It's relatively well developed. It already has a monastery. Yeah. We'll go for the cathedral. Now, I think I need to get a worker over here so I can build a road to the front line. But otherwise, things are looking okay here because now my archers are popping out with a free level, and I think they're halfway to their next level. So that's like just great. Unfortunately, I do have to spend a lot of my training on hurrying biremes, but that's the life that I've chosen for myself. I don't care who my husband is. I just need a child. I don't care. It would be good to get triremes, although the triremes only have a limited use case in the war. Let's grab stirrups so we can build better horsemen. No, do we want professional army? I think we do want professional army, so I'll go ahead and unlock manor. Ooh, free battering ram. That is huge, actually. Well, free. I say free, but a battering ram is really, really cool. It's the Assyrian unique unit. I'll never be able to upgrade it, unfortunately, as far as I'm aware. Unless... maybe I will be able to if I can get citadels. But yeah, basically it's an Assyrian unique unit. It has extra combat strength in urban, and it's good at defending against ranged units. So quite handy. So I'm running up against my economy's limits now. I have so many builders that I can't afford to actually sustain production as I'm building a military as well. Like, if we look at upgrading this guy to an archer, it's going to cost me 1,000 gold, as well as a bunch of training. So I'm going to have to start putting things into idle, which is fine. That's not a big deal. There's not a whole lot of cities around the Arabian Peninsula. There's a couple. It doesn't seem super worth it to expand into. We're better off sticking to places like highly densely populated areas. Our power level with Assyria is similar, and I think I would like to have at least 2 onagers before I really attack them, because I could position an onager here and an onager here, and then my attack range would reach all the way through this gap and also to this city. This onager would hit, I think, from like here to here. So I think the onagers are going to be critical here, is getting those onagers out. Thankfully, Ankara builds them in like 2 turns. Man, I did not realize how easy it would have been for me to get all those laws. I'm really, really close to it. Yeah, I think we're going to go for late game crossbow tech. Crossbows and siege with our unique unit supporting. And so because we selected that, it'll tell us that this is on the way to that. So I'll go ahead and get the siege weapon upgrade. Okay, there is concerns over my lack of heirs, so I'm going to go ahead and legitimize Istiparia. Now my question is that something I can just do to like all of my like random ass people, like let's say oligarch? Doesn't seem to be a way to legitimize. Well, at least we've legitimized one character, and hopefully that'll give me an heir, because I am also concerned, let me tell you. The royal court shares your concerns. Let's grab the cathedral in our capital. Look at that culture, 36 culture per year. That's insane. Now, I definitely want a general in charge of this, and someone like this is great. A zealot means the unit can't die, although I don't have the training for that. Damn it, I spent my training. Whoops. I don't have a lot to do with all my orders, sadly. I still have an agent established in this city, so I can establish an agent in Carchemish now. Now, who do I want to establish in here? I'll take, Mercy. Who are you? He's a relative of mine, and he will hold and become an agent in here. Now, with these agents, you can do kind of interesting things. Like, you can do treachery, which will allow you to damage the city. It's like a 20% chance of damaging the city, and a bunch of other outcomes, depending on how good they are. So I'm going to go ahead and send Egypt a big chunk of cash to get them to declare war on Assyria. Perfect. So now they are bumping heads. I could get a free onager, or I could get longbowmen. Ooh, I feel like longbowmen actually might be a really significant upgrade for me here. Free onager, though. I think I'm going to go for the longbowmen. And I think once I have longbowmen, that might be the trigger for me to go to war. I think the timing of the longbowmen coming out might be like the perfect time to actually just like go ahead and do the war stuff. The great thing is I can now build water mills. which give 100% production towards adjacent quarries, lumber mills and stuff. Your late game economy can actually be like insanely efficient. It's really, really cool. If you have things positioned correctly, like you can do like water mills and then windmills, like a windmill, for example, does the exact same thing. And it also gives you science and stuff like that. It does kind of feel like to me a lot of this stuff comes like too late. Like, okay, the game's over by the time I get to use them. Let's start training some 3-man chariots as well. We have 2 onagers, which I think is okay. We'll go like 3-man chariot into onager and back and forth and just keep doing that sort of a pattern, I think. I'm curious to see what the war between Egypt and Assyria will look like. The main thing I'm looking for is for them to wear each other down while I move in to take Tyre and Damascus. Because I think they are of similar combat strength, and so they shouldn't really be able to get much of an upper hand. They'll mostly like just bump heads and kill each other's units. Perfect for me, that's exactly what I want. Like you'd see like they're attacking and counter-attacking, and that leaves me in perfect position to swoop in. I just got an event from the Thracians that gave me 900 training, which is amazing. God, roads help siege units so much, it's not even funny. I like that because I've infiltrated their cities, I can see what they're building. Like he's making apprentice priests, he's making archers. It would have been nice to like infiltrate deeper and more thoroughly. So these are things, like I feel like I've learned so much from this Let's Play. I thought I understood the game at a pretty good level, and it threw a few things at me that I wasn't expecting, so I don't even know if I can really call this a beginner's Let's Play anymore. It would be nice to pick up pikemen so that we could upgrade our spearmen. That'll take 5 years. I think we're gonna have to start the war next turn, right? So if we go through and we grab all of our archers, the upgrade to longbowmen is insanely expensive. So this is where the mass sell-off of food comes in. At the very least, I want to get these 5 archers upgraded. So there's one. His combat strength went from 5.5 to 8.8, so that's super worth it. Like if we look at the damage that they do to a barbarian unit, a longbowman does, say, 5 pips. Now I know these guys have different bonuses, but these guys do 3. Yeah. This is just huge if we can get these upgrades. It's expensive as all hell to do this. Like we're talking like 2.5 grand per archer, but Assyria only has regular archers. So we have finished the Pantheon, which is quite nice. That's going to give us a ton of extra training, but also +2 civics in state religion cities. So our civics rate just went up quite a bit. So Egypt has a massive military coming up north now. And I'm hoping this is the turn where Assyria will push into their territory and then I can strike. Yeah, it looks like Assyria pushed in. Egypt is holding position. There you go. There you go. Good job, Assyria. So Assyria has massively pushed Jerusalem. And now is the time for me to strike. Let's adopt someone. Okay, finally I was able to adopt someone as my heir. That's... Jesus, it took a long time to get that succession crisis under control. But yeah, let's wipe out these barbarian units. This is like a minor conflict that I'm taking part in right now. That spearman's a little bit vulnerable. This entire thing has been building up to this moment where I click this button and we declare war. Now, we are at war. We have onagers that can blast cities for a significant amount of damage. Carchemish, we can do 4 HP damage to it with both of these onagers, and I will. But our main objective is Tyre. And to that end, I can get 2 biremes to surround the city. I can get you to act, or I'll get this guy to act as an anchor, giving me more mobility on the water. And then I'll get this guy over here to act as an anchor as well. And this will give me a huge anchorage zone. I should have had this prepared, actually. I kind of messed up on that front. And now I just need to get a couple of archers that can do 4 damage on his face. You know what? I think I could just use 3 archers instead of 2. So let's position our archers. 1, 2... and then I get this 3rd archer into position and I get that kill. So that's a chariot down, and now the city is vulnerable to attack. I'll begin the siege on Tyre with my boats. Now I need to think about the attack on Carchemish. I need units in front of my my onagers here to keep it safe. So I'll press in conservatively with cavalry. I could get a free warrior if I did this, and I will get a free warrior. Because that'll just let me get a little bit of extra damage and it'll soak up hits for me. I'll position a couple of longbowmen on this front. But otherwise, the big play will actually happen on the 2nd turn of this war. And now every city needs to be producing military for me. either military or the resources to supply a military. So no matter what the city is, it's going to be producing longbows or just warriors, anything, literally anything. Like if I can produce a military unit, I will be producing it. Or I'll be producing the woodcutter specialists that will fuel my economy. We finally got the Circus Maximus. That's going to give a little bit of XP to our mounted units, as well as just a huge bunch to our boost to our training. We can make friends with these guys. Yeah, I'll make friends with them. I don't need to worry about discontent. I'm going to not add new generals to my units. We have our very first ballista over here. And let's begin the attack here. So there's a relatively weak defense here, but I will pull back this spearman. The first thing I'm going to do, however, is position the siege weaponry against Tyre. This will just like ka-chunk. That city's now basically done for. I will use my onager and my archers against this maceman. Killing units is more important than killing the city, but we can do double spearman attacks against this maceman now and really take him down. I could also theoretically get a chariot around the back, and I will, so we can kill that maceman. And now Tyre is just open for the taking. Like, if we can get stuff in position to take Tyre, we'll be fine. Now we need to look at Carchemish. There's no resistance at Carchemish yet, so I think it could be safe to unlimber my onager here and move it forward slightly. Continue to bombard Carchemish and push in to take the city. But that's okay, the city is already falling. Remember, this isn't our main objective. Our main objective isn't Carchemish. That's the secondary objective. But by taking Carchemish, we open up a pathway to Damascus. Yeah, I'll take 1,000 training. Thank you very much. Just in the bank. Feels good. So now I'm curious what the war between Egypt and Assyria is going to look like. Is Assyria going to retreat now that two of their cities are under severe attack? Or are they going to continue to fight Egypt? That's like the open question that I'm not sure how that's going to play out. Right, here comes the counterattack at least. Now they must think they can get a kill if they're counterattacking me here. Well, I guess not. No, they definitely think they can get a kill if they're counterattacking me. And they can, they have the archers. Jerusalem is now under attack, which is what we expected. Jerusalem was the sacrificial city in my mind to allow me to get the attack I needed off. Now, one problem I have is that I'm extremely low on resources, like I talked about earlier. However, I do have stone I can sell. I'm a little bit worried about this chariot. I can get a kill here, but then I think I need to be super aggressive with these archers to get that second kill. And then unfortunately that chariot dies. But I think that's a price I'll pay to clear this camp in a reasonable amount of time. So I like the positioning on my enemy here. They've positioned their units to avoid taking splash damage from my thingies. I will continue to damage the city with the back thing. Now I can safely take Tyre with my siege weapon. So Tyre is now mine. So I can go looting in Tyre, or I can occupy it. I think we loot the hell out of this city. Hell yeah, boom. Light them up, baby. Now the big thing is, there's a onager in this city. That's going to be a problem to deal with. The onager inside Damascus. I need to get on Damascus and start hitting it now. We'll see what we can do. The problem is, onagers are good against onagers, is the dangerous thing that we have to worry about here. Our number one goal is to kill 2 of these archers this turn. I think stepping forward with this archer to point blank this guy is good. Then my 3-man chariot can almost get that kill. I suppose if I do this, get that kill with my 3-man chariot, boom. I can step forward with my longbow, blap this archer, use my elephant and my spearman to severely damage. Oh, we crit him. Perfect, perfect, perfect. The crit I wasn't expecting, but I'm happy to get it. We do want to keep this city under siege, so we're going to keep the damage flowing onto it. So we killed 2 of the archers. That was our goal. We lost an elephant for those 2 archer kills, but that's a worthwhile trade in my opinion. I need to start hitting Damascus. I can't like get distracted by this. I mean, I will use my spearman to fight the elephant because that's what they're good at. So spearman fight, spearman fight. Then how can I get a kill on this elephant? Let's see. You just about don't kill it. So if you step forward and point blank him, that's a dead elephant. Now we can start working on Damascus itself. I'm going to start using my spare training because I'm still a zealot to rush out things like 3-man chariots. I think the 3-man chariot is going to be like the carry unit in this war. Egypt's doing work, distracting. Egypt has been a huge, like if I had to fight Assyria's army on my own, this would absolutely, there's no way this would have worked. The fact that I was able to get, like, diplomacy is so powerful in this game. It's kind of insane. I have mad respect for diplomacy now. Damascus is looking a little bit too heavily defended for me to really do much about it. I don't know how he's producing so much military so quickly. But it looks like he's completely peeled off of Egypt to come fight me instead. Which, I mean, makes sense. I'm the bigger threat right now. I'm the one who's actually captured a city, and I've put 2 cities under threat. The number one thing in this war is to kill as many units as possible and lose as few as possible, because it doesn't matter. Everything else is just secondary to that. Is aggression, 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 aggression. So like, here's a 3-man chariot nearly one-shotting an archer. Boom. The elephant finishes it. I think I will sacrifice this siege tower to just obliterate Damascus's health. I'll force march it even. To just get that damage in is everything. If I had the ability to do an offensive, I would. To make sure Carchemish can't like get free repairs on. And I think I'm going to march my longbowman down here. I think I have a longbowman advantage right now, which means if I can do things like routes and crits and just get kills, I think I'm in a position to potentially take this war. Now, these 2 units are standing together, so that's a little bit spooky. But hitting Damascus, get that city down in health. My spearman is not very good at fighting. I should probably preserve it until I can get infantry square. Keep those spears alive. Let's be hyper aggressive on Damascus, because this is the city that we need. If we can take Damascus, we can take the game. That's the reality of the matter that we're dealing with here. Damascus is so low. I think I can take it next turn. Although these siege towers are insane, bro. It's got a 1-tap. That's okay. That 1-tap is worth it, because the 1-tap on this battering ram just killed Damascus for me. I am going to have to deal with that siege tower. It's going to be a problem. I really need Egypt to like get these units to the front line and make a difference here, because I don't think I could take Assyria alone. This was meant to be like a surprise land grab, and I can see it bogging down into a grindy war, and I'm worried about that. I'm really, really worried about that. They're holding Damascus like they know it's how I win the game. It's crazy to me. Like, they're not even defending Carchemish really. They are like completely just defending Damascus. All right, I'll get a 3-man chariot down here. Boom, big damage. Bring my other 3-man chariot here. Boom, big damage. Soften up this guy. Move into position. Hit him. Kill with this 3-man chariot. Follow up with this 3-man route attack. Just need to get damage in. Use our 2 onagers here to slap away at these archers. Start upgrading conscripts and moving conscripted workers to the front line. This is now an all-in. We're all in, baby. No retreat. We just have to get kills. That's the critical thing to do here, is get kills. If we can get kills, everything will work out. That's what I'm telling myself, Copium. Oh god, I don't think it's gonna work. Man, even if I was producing like 2 or 3 3-man chariots per turn, I don't know if I could do this. It's like really tough. Every turn that goes by, their position gets like way better. Now, to be fair, my war plan was one of surprise. Like, I will take that 100% on board. The good news is they are finally in a position where this catapult can make work happen right on the front line. And kills with a 3-man chariot, always worth it. Now, what I would like is for this guy to kill him and then him. So, I'll position my camel archer here to damage you. You'll come forward, slap him. Chariot hits. Now, every time you do a route attack, you weaken your next route attack, but that's okay, because this is just about clearing out as many archers as possible. And I think this guy literally cleared out like a horseman and 3 archers this turn. So, super efficient turn for me. I will take it 100% of the time. Don't get me wrong, like, I'm not crumbling under pressure from the AI. But I'm definitely not succeeding to the level that I would like to succeed. Okay, I'm in a better position, but I still don't feel amazingly about this war. I was hoping to get this done in one episode, and I think I'm going to commit to that. Because I just need to take Damascus, and I think I'm killing more than I'm losing this turn. Now I have conscripts clogging up the front line, and I'm outproducing them, I feel. It does still say that they are weaker than me. Not much weaker, just weaker. And my hope is that Egypt now will counterattack, and Tyre being captured fully will come to the forefront. It really just kind of all hinges on if Egypt can get up here and start actually making a mess of Damascus for me, so I can actually capture it myself when the time comes. Somehow I still have a longbowman, like, in the in the center of the Assyrian cities. These two onagers are doing work in terms of, like, preventing a counterattack on Tyre. So I'm quite happy with that. Now, these two onagers, it depends. How important is it for me to get kills here? I have a 3-man chariot that I could bring in. I would have to force march it to here. But with the attack from an onager, if I force march a chariot to here, I can kill this. If I sidestep with this guy, you can come over here, break him, then route attack, and then I can get another route attack. Wait, what? Why is that damage so poor? Well, let's soften him up with this so we can get that route attack. And then we should be able to just about get one more route attack. There we go. So that's a huge amount of units cleared off the battlefield. But I think the primary goal of this 3-man chariot and these guys is to siege down this city, or at the very least keep its health down. We just need to get it down. It's repairing plus 8 HP per year. It's healing 11 health per year, so that's rough. Oh, you know what? I've actually made a bit of a mistake here. I just realized that Assyria built the Great Ziggurat over in Anat. So I need to punch through 3 more cities to actually get the Great Ziggurat. Now, Egypt is also attacking here, so that's going to make my life slightly easier. And my military production now is at a rate, alongside my order production, to where I think I can do this. Because I'm not building any... I'm basically building no improvements right now. My economy is not getting any better, and I'm just spamming military. So I think I can do this. So what is involved here? I've got 6 units ready to attack. Do I have any more archers I could use? No, I'm light on archers right now. This city should fall next turn. It's going to go back up to 20 health, but I have the damage to take it, I think. Let's put another city under threat here. This will force the city to do repairs instead of actually like building units to support the war. That's like the main objective there. I'm actually going to get this longbowman out. How did I manage this? That's insane. This is like the greatest escape in antiquity. That this archer that I had positioned next to Damascus actually managed to escape the siege and come up here. That's incredible. Let's grab a crossbowman. They'll be handy with my next technology pick. But otherwise, we are just pumping units into this front line. It's finally time for this city to actually die. I've got a bit of a pain in my ass with it still being alive. Take it with a conscript. Boom. Another city falls to me. And now we can turn our eyes to Mari. It looks like he is drafting units into his army, which is kind of what we want, because I feel like I can outproduce him. And if I think I can outproduce him, then being in a production war is exactly where I want to be. And that is exactly where we are. I just need like a smidge more damage here. Ka-cham. So now Mari is under major threat, and I have more and more conscripts pouring into the front line just to clog shit up. You don't need them to actually fight. They just need to be there to be clogs. They're clogging up the works. I'm going to give Egypt a little bit of help with Damascus by taking out that siege tower and doing a bit of damage to these archers. And I'll move a few conscripts forward to give them just a little bit of support on Damascus, because they need a little bit of help on this front line. Things are looking really good for me here. I think my goal is to put Nisibis under siege, so that the defense of the city will be very difficult. Mari is already under siege, so I just want to complete that siege. I'm going to move up my my onagers to start hammering Mari next turn and get an easy kill on it, which I did. So now Damascus is wide open as well, and I'll probably send a bunch of conscripts in to just put that city under siege. And since those conscripts can put the city under siege, I can start moving up these onagers. And get them in here and limber them up for next turn. Mari is basically done for. The archer defending the city is gone. The city's health is almost depleted. And really, the road to Anat is just wide open. Looks like this is the Assyrians' last method of defense. Also, by the way, there's like a bunch of Babylonian units just caught inside this like plot of unclaimed land inside Assyria, which I think is hilarious. Let's use the onagers to very quickly bring the health down on Mari. And there goes Mari. Should be under my control now. Did it survive with like literally 0 HP? I guess I have to kill the archer. There we go. No truce. The war will continue. There can be no truce. This is a war for the victory of the game. So if I attack with these two, boom, and boom, and then I hit with my conscripts and then use the route attack, I can take Damascus. So that's 3 cities I've managed to take. This is kind of feels like wars in Civ, where there'll be a point where things are a little bit difficult, and it's tough for a while, but once you break the enemy, the war passes very quickly. This was an incredibly successful turn. 2 cities put under siege, or, well, captured, and now we've actually started hitting a gnat. I'm cutting out a lot of the footage because I think the difficult part of the war is now over, right? And honestly, the turns take like 5 minutes now, this super late into the game with like such a huge map. I think I might play on a slightly smaller map next time, just because the late game turn. Because the AI, like, here's the thing. The AI calculates all the moves that it wants to make, and then it runs through them, and then you have to like watch the animations. And I already have the animations on like as fast as they can go, I think. But even so, it's quite slow, but it's not like unbearably slow. It's not like go make a cup of tea and come back slow. We can get the upgraded onager, the mangonel. I will definitely take that. That seems just like a straight up upgrade, so for sure. Nice thing is my army is so overwhelming, and because this is like the last thing I have to do before I win, I don't have to think about my orders too much. I can just kind of throw my units at the enemy because I spent so much time building the economy that I needed to get to this point. So it's super great. The late game, the late game of this game definitely has some issues, but I'm super happy with how things have turned out. Now, my question is, will the Great Ziggurat stay if I kill Assyrian paganism by taking the city? That's an interesting question. I don't think I never encountered that situation before. I forgot to unlimber my siege units. Oh my god. Well, they'll be limbered up for the next turn attack. Oh, they have crossbowmen now. That's spooky. Those are good against infantry. I'm still not worried because I can surround the city and just mark it in a single turn still. But at the very least, they're going to mount a slightly more scary defense. So Babylon has actually declared war on Assyria, which is an interesting development. But we are officially ready to take the city of Anat into our control. Onager attack, onager attack, onager attack, and an onager attack. And now we can start slapping with our archers. Bring our final pikemen in. Yoink, the city is now completely defenseless. And it now belongs to us. Oh, that was a polybolus, not a thing. So now we just have to wait 4 turns to win. So I'm going to go ahead and propose peace with Assyria. We are the superior power and we do demand tribute. So we will demand tribute and then end our turn 4 times to get the victory here. It was a long and difficult campaign playing Old World, but I feel like the knowledge that I've gathered from this playthrough puts me in a position to where my next game on this or a higher difficulty, probably a higher difficulty, I'll go up like 1 difficulty notch for my next game, means that I will feel much more confident going into my next game, essentially is what I'm going to say here. Is that like, I feel like I understand the game mechanics much better, I feel like I understand the combat mechanics much better, and I feel like I understand the overall gameplay, like how to actually construct my economy, what resources are important. I way overemphasized food this game. Now, to be fair, that's mostly off the back of food resources. I think what I need to do is to run a much thinner economy. And what I mean by that is I have like massive swaths of like resources just sitting there. And I think I need to think more about wonders. Wonders are incredibly powerful and useful. So making sure that my wonders are being looked after, I think is quite important. I don't think I need to bother commanding my units anymore. I think that the war is like well and truly over. I guess I could like take a hit, but let's just go ahead and end our turn again. We've got 3 years until we win. I like that I have over 100 orders per turn. That's a feels good moment. Feels really, really good. In a way, this game is very much more like a real-time strategy game when it comes to unit numbers than it is like a tactical strategy game, because in a lot of tactical strategy games, a small number of units controlled very carefully is very, very, you can defeat massive odds. In this game, you kind of need just like a lot of shit. Like you just need a lot of shit into the breach, you know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that from a design standpoint, that's okay. But it feels like investing heavily into a unit against... When you have perfect knowledge, investing heavily into a unit is like very difficult because the AI will always perfectly pick off a unit that you have like super heavily upgraded, you have a leader running it. So it seemed like to me that just getting more units was more effective. Now against a player, maybe deeply investing into a couple of units could be quite a valuable thing. I think one thing that I will definitely do in my next game is I'm going to be making use of these barracks. Even like a couple of early warriors standing on a barracks they're accumulating essentially 10 training per turn towards experience. And so over time, whenever you decide to go to war or you need to go to war, you have units sitting there ready to fight. Because like if you look at this archer, right, he's sitting on this tile, slowly accumulate, or this longbowman, he's accumulating experience towards his promotions. And so by the mid game, you could have warriors coming into a battle with +2 promotions. And it's very hard in the midst of a war to take time to actually upgrade your units. You generally upgrading, unless it's a free upgrade, then you can kind of do it at battle. But the actual upgrades, they tend to happen. Like I'm pretty sure I can, if I were to take a promotion on this guy, like usually I don't think you can usually, like you can't promote an attack, right? So like let's say this guy promotes, it's a bad example because they have a free promotion. This guy promotes, right? But that's his action used up. He can't attack now. But I'm pretty sure if you have this plus marker with a free promotion and I go, hey, take combat 1, it doesn't actually use up the attack, which is kind of interesting. But these are really, really good numbers. Look, 400 science, 500 science per turn, 700 civics per turn. Like I'm at the stockpile cap, bro. Like it's just, there's nothing we can do. My hope is the game rolls over. I grab myself this beautiful ziggurat, and we can all go home having played a very satisfying game of Old World. And there we go. That is the ambition victory completed. Control 7 wonders. Bish, bash, bosh. So my work here is done, but let's go ahead and check out the timeline. This is like the coolest part. Is you can scroll back through and see the whole game. Like let's toggle the fog of war. Oh dear. The game did not like me toggling the fog of war. Hopefully it hasn't crashed. I wanted to show off this timeline feature. Well, unfortunately the game had a little bit of a crash. That's okay. Not a big deal. Hell yeah, Old World. Super great. Really enjoyed the campaign. I really liked the end game transition. Because of the way the ambitions worked out, it kind of forced me, when I wanted to go for like a peaceful wonder building win, it kind of forced me to transition into a very aggressive play. And that was interesting. It was interesting to think, okay, God, wow, my economy really isn't set up for a war. And so I had to then switch my economy to a war economy and then actually build the army, use diplomacy to get an edge on the, like it really, really does do a really, really great job of creating an interesting scenario for players to play around in. But that's going to be it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I love you all very much. Hope you enjoyed the series, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.